Hi everyone, I'm going to show you today how I crocheted this really cute Christmas placemat. The stitch I use is a corner to corner stitch. So I finished it off with a single crochet border, but first I used a foundation row under that, so I'll show you how to do that. The placemat when finished is about 19 inches in width, which is about 48 centimeters. And 13 inches in height, which is about 33 centimeters. If you find that this placemat might be a little large for you, then just begin your decreasing row before where I instruct you to do it. I used Bernat 100% cotton yarn for this project. It is a medium weight of 4. The red is just called red, and the white that I used is just called white. I used a 5mm crochet hook, and the only other things you'll need: scissors for cutting your yarn and some sort of a yarn needle. So I hope you enjoy following along in this tutorial with me and enjoy crocheting these placemats. So let's get started. We'll start with a slip knot. We'll chain 6. In our 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook, we're going to put a double crochet. So we'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet. In our 5th one, we'll put a double crochet. And in the 6th one. Put a double crochet. So we formed our first little block. So we're going to turn this block. Now we're going to chain 6 again, but after your 3rd chain, so 1, 2, 3, put your finger on that one, 4, 5, 6. So the one that you have your finger on, that's your 4th chain from your hook, so you're going to put a double crochet in there. It's just saves counting back. So 4th, 5th, and 6th chain, we're putting a double crochet. So now we're going to connect this block to this one, so we have to find that chain 3 space that's right over here. Just going to slip stitch in there, and you're going to make a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. Now I'm not going to finish the last double crochet because I want to change from the color of white to red. So I'm going to finish this double crochet with my red yarn. Then I'm going to turn my work so it's facing this way. Actually, let's trim the white yarn. We don't need that yarn over there. So my work is turned. I'm going to chain 6 with the red, and same thing as before. Chain 3, put your finger on that 3rd chain, and 4, 5, 6. So the chain that you have your finger on, you can put your first double crochet in there. That's your 4th from the hook. Then your 5th one, and 6th one. Okay, so your work should be facing this way. Here's the tail end of my yarn where I started. And at this side of my white block, we can see that chain 3 space. So I'm going to put a slip stitch in there. And I'm going to chain 3. Then I'm going to put 3 double crochet in this chain 3 space. Okay, so I've got 2 blocks. Now I need to make a 3rd block. So we can see this was our corner block, so there's 1. Then we have 2 white ones. Now we've got 2 red ones, and we're about to put our 3rd one on. So we're going to find that chain 3 space right there. We're going to slip stitch into it and do a chain 3. We're going to go back to the same chain 3 space. We're going to put 3 double crochet in there. So here we had 1 block, we've got 2, now we have 3. So for our next row, we're increasing. To increase when we're doing corner to corner, this type of corner to corner, is when we're chaining our 6. So first we turn our work this way. It's easier to work in that chain if you make your chain when your work is facing your right side. So this is the right side for our next row. So this is how we increase, by adding that extra block, and we're adding it by chaining 6. So 1, 2, 3, put your finger on that 3rd one, 4, 5, 6. So we'll do our double crochet in that one. In our 4th, in our 5th, and in our 6th. Then we're bringing it over and we're joining it to our row. So we join it with a slip stitch. Then we make our next block. So chain 3, 3 double crochet. Then we go to our next block, we slip stitch into that chain 3 space, we chain 3, and then do 3 double crochet in that same space. So this is the pattern we're following in each row, is that finding that chain 3 space, slip stitching in there, chaining 3, and then doing 3 double crochet. Now we've done 2 rows of red, so before I finish the last double crochet with my red, I want to change back to my white, because I'm doing 2 rows of each color alternating. So 2 rows of white, 2 rows of red, then there'll be 2 rows of white. So I can snip my red yarn, get my white yarn, and I'll finish that double crochet. Okay, so for our next row, we have to turn. So we're still increasing, so we're going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, place my finger there, 4, 5, 6. Do a double crochet in that 4th chain, 5th chain, and then the 6th chain. Okay, we're going to come over and join that. We find our chain 3 space and do a slip stitch, chain 3, then we'll continue this row. So we'll continue this row following the same pattern. So your chain 3 space is always going to be the left side of these little blocks that you have. So you slip stitch in there, 3 double crochet. Well, slip stitch in there, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Then you go to your next one, same thing, slip stitch in there, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Then you join to your last one, chain 3 spaces over here, slip stitch in there, chain 3, 3 double crochet. I'll meet you at the end of this row. Just finished the end of that white row. So let's count, let's look back again. We've got 1 in here. This row we have 2. The red row we've got 1, 2, 3. The second red row 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are increasing 1 block each row, and that is at the beginning of the row where I'm ready to do it here. I'm turning my work and I'm going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, put my finger on there, 4, 5, 6. Complete this block by putting a double crochet in the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain. We're going to join our blocks by doing a slip stitch into the chain 3 space, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Finish that white row, and now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white blocks. I'm ready to change to my red. So I want to complete that last double crochet with my red yarn. So I'm just going to change to the red. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to do chain 6, then do a double crochet my 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook. We'll continue working the pattern, 2 rows of each color. Remember, you can count your blocks in your last row. And I want you to continue following that same pattern until you have 16 blocks. So on mine, that is my last set of red. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The placemat now is at the width or the height that I would like for it to be, but we need to continue, put this in the camera, need to continue with the length of it. So at this side, where I've just finished my red, I'm not going to change my color right at this corner right here. We're going to first insert my hook. We're going to turn our work. We're not going to add another block, so I'm not going to do a chain 6 and then do a double crochet in my 4th, 5th, and 6th chain. So that's going to change at this side of the placemat. So I've turned my work, my hook is still inserted, and here we can see our 1, 2, 3 double crochets. So I'm going to slip stitch into these 3. After we've finished slip stitching in the top of our 3 double crochets, we can see that our top corner has formed. Because I'm changing colors for this row, because I've just completed 2 red rows, now it's time for white. This is where I'm going to change to my white color. So I can snip my red. So right here in this chain 3 space, we're going to do a slip stitch in there. I'm going to go in with my white, chain 3, oops, and then 3 double crochet in that chain 3 space. So now we continue along following the same pattern. We're going to slip stitch into that chain 3 space, chain 3, and then do our 3 double crochet. So again, here's another look at our corner. You can see this is our straight edge along this side. We have our 90° for our corner. So continue following the same pattern all the way down to this corner. We want to continue to add more blocks at this corner. So when you get to this corner, do the regular chain 6, double crochet in your 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook, and then come all the way back up to finish off your second white row. And I'll meet you back up here just to make sure that we're doing this decrease properly. Just about to finish the second white row. So as you can see, I've made my white block and I'm ready to slip stitch it to this white block over here. So at this point on this side, after we've slip stitched into that chain 3, we're just going to turn our work, keeping our white on the hook right now because we're going to slip stitch across and we want to keep our white on white. 1, 2, 3 double crochets. So from that last one, you can count them, 1, 2, 3. Just slip stitch into the top of those. Okay, now we're going to change to the red. Before I attach the red, we'll go over the side of our work. We should still have 16 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We'll continue following this pattern. We're still increasing on this side. This side we're doing our decrease, and we'll work this for a total of 12 double rows. So starting with our white over here, we have 2 white rows, so that's a double row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've got 12 rows in total, double rows in total done. Here is my top edge. So this is how far since that 90° corner. And so now we have to start decreasing over here as well, because it's as long as I would like for it to be. It's measuring now at about 12 inches in the height of it, probably about 18.5 in how wide it's going to be. So I've just done my 3 slip stitches in the top of my red 3 double crochets. I'm going to attach my white. So we'll work along this side. When we get to this bottom corner, I'll meet you down there and we'll make sure that we're decreasing the correct way, and we're going to form our next 90-degree corner over here. Just at the end of this row, and I'm ready to attach the white to the chain 3 at the end of the red one. So we'll slip stitch in there, and then we're going to turn our work. When you turn your work to do your slip stitching across these double crochets, it's always best to turn it this way, which keeps your yarn at the back of your work. If you turn it this way, then your yarn is at the front of your work and you can't slip stitch it that way. So make sure you're turning it this way so your yarn is at the back. So we can see our 3 double crochets, and we're just going to slip stitch in those. Okay, now we continue as our pattern calls for. We're slip stitching in that chain 3 space, chain 3, and then our 3 double crochet. So from this point on, we're decreasing 1 block per row. So we'll continue with the same pattern. We can see, move our white yarn together. Help us see that corner. So we can see now here we have our 3rd corner is formed. So we'll continue following the same pattern. 2 rows of white, 2 rows of red. When we get to the end, we're just doing a slip stitch, turning our work, and then slip stitching into the top of the 3 double crochets from that row before. So no more chain 6 and a double crochet into the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain. So we'll continue along until we have 1 block left. As I said, each row we're decreasing 1 block. So continue the same pattern until we get to the last block, and I'll make sure that you fasten it off correctly. Okay, I've continued with my decreasing rows, and now I have just completed my red block, and I'm just going to slip stitch it to this white one, and then I'm just going to fasten it off there. So you can just pull out a loop, bring the yarn through that loop, and we're done. So the next step is to weave in all of the ends. I would tie a knot with the 2 pieces of yarn that end and start at the same spot. Usually I go right over left, under, left over right, and under. Then just take a tapestry needle, a yarn needle, and weave it in the white over the white and the red in the red. We'll meet back here when all of the ends have been woven in. Now that all the ends are woven in, I'm going to put a foundation row around the outside of this for our border. I'm going to do a red border. So I'm going to join my red in between 2 red blocks. Just going to tie it there. That way when I go to weave my ends in, my red is right next to my red stitches, so it'll be easy to weave it in there. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull back a loop, chain 1, and then single crochet in that same spot. I'm going to chain 2, And between my blocks, I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 2. Between these two blocks, I'm going to put a single crochet, then chain 2 again, go between my next two blocks, do a single crochet. So we'll continue along in the same way, and then I'll meet you at the corner. We'll talk about that. I'm at the corner. This is what my foundation row is looking like. Here we can see all the red stitches. So when we get to our corner, got a chain 2. I've done single crochet, chain 2. In that corner I'm going to single crochet, chain 3, and then single crochet back in that same space. And that'll allow us to make our corner. So then we continue the same way, chain 2, turn our work to the side, we'll go between our next set of blocks, do a single crochet. So we'll continue that all the way around until we get back to where we started with our foundation row. Okay, I'm back at the beginning. I've done my last single crochet between these two blocks. I've done a chain 2. So then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet. Chain 1. In each chain 2 space, put 3 single crochets. You'll continue that all the way around. When you get to your corner, chain 3 space, put 3 single crochets in that chain 3 space. So 3 single crochets in each chain 2 space. When you get to the end, so you're back at the beginning, just do a slip stitch in that first single crochet. Snip your yarn and pull that through your loop. Fasten in your 2 ends. Well, our placemat is complete now. I really hope you enjoyed following along in this tutorial with me and making this placemat. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel, and you can follow along with some other great projects. So have a great day and happy crocheting!